All right, can you hear me now, Tiffany? Yes, sorry about that. I apologize, everybody. This is my first time running this thing, so I'm going to go back and say repeat what I said already, which is I want to remind everybody of our upcoming women's retreat. That's in January 9th and through the 11th. It's in San Juan Capistrano. And then we have the Seaside Symposium, March 20th through the 21st. That's going to include QME credits as well. So those usually the hotel slots they fill up pretty quickly. So I'd recommend signing up as soon as possible. And also be sure to check your TWA newsletter every week. We have all kinds of great information. Looks like Tiffany popped up the QR code for Seaside Symposium. And so today we're going to have Dr. Kent Choi from Ichthus Injury Network, and we're trying to get him on. Let's see here, masterclass on the 28th. Tiffany's reminding me of the masterclass that's on the 28th, the women's masterclass. Be sure to scan that QR code and check that out. And that should be a very good event. Got a lot of really good events coming up for the women in our profession, which is nice to see. I'm really happy to see that we're focusing on this, help bring their skill sets and their self mastery, up, leveled up. So let's see here. Do we have any word on Dr. Choi? Clicking over here. Let's see. Okay, give that a shot. Let's see, I don't see him. Yeah, it looks like he dropped out again. I had him put on there. I had I had it to allow him in. So let me see. Let me message him. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. Let me reach out to him and say, try one more time. Let's see here. There we go. Just e-texted him. Okay, gotcha. Man, this is going to be a really good episode. Kent has a ton of great information. I speak from personal experience myself. I've been in his group for a number of years, and I can honestly say that my PI practice would not be where it is today without his expertise. I don't know that there's many people in the industry that have his knowledge, and let alone in California, right? I mean, he definitely knows the California market, and I know he's expanded into other markets. I believe he's in Missouri. He's in Nevada, Arizona, I want to say Georgia, and probably a few other places. So his network is, and he's just educating doctors and leveling up the chiropractic role in PI case management and treatment. So he's a respected educator and he's a mentor. He's known for helping chiropractors strengthen their documentation, their clinical excellence, and their profitability in their PI practice. And he brings over 2 decades of experience in guiding DCs on how to effectively evaluate, diagnose, and manage motor vehicle cases. Okay, so he's back in here. Let me bring him back on. Can you hear me, Kent? You're in here, but I'm not seeing your video, and I'm not hearing you, sir. Let me see. Settings. I'm going to go into settings. Let's see. Can you hear me? Disconnect that. You on there? Show on. Control presentations. I'm gonna give you controls. And we're gonna see what you can do. All right, he's calling me right now. I see you on there. It's not giving you access. Hold on. My thing hijacked. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm on my phone right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's not allowing you to access your cam or your audio.
No, I'm going to my settings and I can't seem to find it. But can people hear me if I talk on here?
I think they can. Let me turn this up louder. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you guys all hear me?
You're getting some echo feedback from me.
This will be fun.
I know, right?
I've never had a problem with these webinars before. I just think something in my computer settings might be a little bit off. I'm doing my best to try to figure it out, but definitely I'm here on the trying to figure out why I can't get access to my.
I had a similar problem.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. First time, I'm not familiar with this restream, but if we can do this, I'm ready to go. Do we have a good amount of people on this call?
Looks like, let me ask, let's see, get it right here. Let me ask. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Go for it.
Check with Tiffany if they can hear me through this, and then I can go ahead and speak this way.
All right. Yep. She says sounds okay.
All right. Let's go. Thanks for having me. I hope this isn't too much of a setback, but I have some very good material. Would love to take some questions from you or anyone in the audience if they have access to the chat. But yeah, I have something nice and short and sweet prepared for the audience.
Sounds good. Go forward.
All right, let's do it. So the subject matter for today is how to develop a reputable and lucrative PI practice. I think that, like all things in life, it takes a lot of coaching, discipline, patience, and really, really a lot of hard work. And so a little bit about myself. I've been in practice for 25 years. And the first 15 to 16 years with respect to personal injury was very, very rough. In other words, I didn't have any mentors. I didn't really have anyone in the profession that I could say, teach me, how it is that you have such a good PI practice. About 8 or 9 years ago, I basically decided to take it upon myself to reach out to attorneys, more attorneys and case managers, and try to figure out maybe I was doing something wrong, or maybe the lawyers were doing something wrong. And I discovered, to make a long story short, both sides are doing many things wrong. And so what I'm going to share today to help all of you understand that there is an ethical, a very streamlined way of doing personal injury that will result in making a good amount of money, and most importantly, not being shady about it. Because I think a lot of times when students or doctors think about, or even professors at school think about personal injury, the general feeling is it's kind of dirty. It's just not something that I want to do or you should do. But I can tell you guys, there are a lot of shady characters out there on the legal side and on the medical side. But when you find those unicorns that do things right, it's very exciting to be in practice. And every day I go to my office, and I'm just so excited to help people, and specifically in the personal injury world that has so many people doing it wrong. So I just want to start out by saying what I say today didn't come easy. It came through 8-9 years of very, very hard work. And Dr. Shapiro, you kind of have a taste of what I'm talking about, as you did seek some counsel from me over the years, and it's done some great things, I think, from what I hear directly from you. And maybe you can just make a real quick comment that it's not as easy as it looks, right? I mean, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, I can say without a doubt that after I learned from you, like, I've done more and far better and much higher quality in my practice, versus the first 18 years of my practice. Like, my first 18 years were horrible, and I floundered, and I felt the same way you did. And after I joined with you and trained with you, I mean, it just absolutely exploded my practice, my PI practice. And I have so much more respect in the community and authority as well, sir.
Great. And would you just say in general, it took a solid year of trying to absorb all these concepts that were so ingrained in you wrongly, whether it's not to your fault, it's just what's out there. It took maybe a full year to start grasping some of these concepts that were super important to spur your practice to the next level?
Yeah, easily at least a year. It was tough to reprogram.
So let me get started with some bullet points for all you. And I think we got a good 20 more minutes, right, before we kind of call this webinar.
We're probably looking at 10-15 minutes.
Okay, let's go then. So what a reputable and lucrative PI practice is not. Let's kind of talk about what it's not. Well, I'm going to give a general comment, and I think we can all agree. To develop or to have a reputable and lucrative PI practice is not working with billboard attorneys. Now, when I say billboard attorneys, yes, I have some personal friends that have billboards, but they might just have one billboard down the street from their office. These are great lawyers and great people. But when I say billboards, I think we all kind of understand what that really means or feels like. The problem with a lot of quote-unquote billboard type of attorneys is a lot of those practices or law offices are not run by lawyers. They're run by what's called case managers. And if you guys start speaking to case managers, even at meetings or reaching out to them, the conversation is drastically different than, let's say, a very, very sharp attorney. And so in my years of working with billboard attorneys and kind of phasing them out, it's very rare or very hard for me to see that it's actually going to get much, much better. If anything, it's kind of getting worse and worse based on what people are telling me. So that's something that is not encouraged by me based on my personal experience. And I don't really know any doctor that is develop a lucrative and reputable PI practice by engulfing their client or patient base with billboard attorneys. It may change in the future, but it's just not something you want to jump at from my experience. Number two, what a reputable and lucrative PI practice is not is waiting 1 to 2 years to get paid. And the sad thing is, and this is a general observation, I think it's like 99% true, the longer you wait, the less you're going to get reimbursed. The best reimbursements that come outside of, let's say, MedPay is when these cases resolve in 3 to 6 months and you have a check in hand for your reasonable bill paid in full. It's all turning around in about 3 to 4 months. And it seems like the longer you wait, we're talking about 1.5 years, 2 years, that amount of your bill gets hacked pretty bad. One of the things I want to mention is I had a young chiro that I was speaking to about a month ago, and she's been out for 2 years, and she was saying she would love to do more PI. And I said, that's great. That's what we all want to do because it pays the best, it seems. But the trade-off is it takes a while. And I said, what's the percentage of your practice breakdown? She said 70% is insurance, which I think is great because you pretty much guarantee to get patients. The average reimbursement is $60. And she said 15% of her practice is cash, and that's about $60, and that's instantaneous financial gratification. And then the other 15% was personal injury. And I said, well, yeah, that'd be great if you could increase it. But my main question, Dr. Shapiro, what do you think my main question was when I said, hey, if you're getting $60 for insurance and $60 for cash, what do you think my question was in terms of the 15% PI she was doing? Naturally, my question would be is what's your average what?
Average visit, charge, and collection.
Correct. Reimbursement, right? And she actually said it was $60. And I thought to myself, you should probably spend more time on the cash part of your practice because at least with insurance cases that have denials and you have to spend a lot of money to chase that money, that cash is king, right? But I didn't want to insult her, but I was just thinking in my own mind, why would you want to keep doing PI when you got to wait 1 to 2 years? And she said that it was like a 1 to 2 year turnaround for the same amount of money. So in terms of lucrative, I think lucrative means you want to get paid the most for your time with the patient. And in my clinical practice, which is 95% PI, the average reimbursement outside of PI, whether it's insurance or cash, might be $50 a visit. But my average reimbursement, I'm not about the billable amount, the average reimbursement that I've been tracking for about 2 years now is $160 a visit. So to me, if you can figure out how to get $160 a visit, that's like treating more than 3 patients for the same amount of time outside of a PI case. So I can argue that my overhead's the same versus my colleagues, yet my collections are 3 times as high. And that's what creates lucrative, right? That's money. And then if you can do it with reputation in hand and not sell your soul to the devil, there's no better feeling of being a clinician and business owner that does everything right and makes a good living. The other thing personal injury is not is billing high, billing an unreasonable number of visits, either because you feel that this is part of the PI game, or even worse, because an attorney wants big bills to deceive or overwhelm the insurance company, because some of these lawyers love to just throw hundreds of thousands of dollars of bills to the insurance company, where they kind of choke up and say, fine, we'll pay your $30,000. Then what happens is the attorney takes their contracted fee, which is usually about a third. They try to get their client also as much as they take, so they try to get them a third. And then all the doctors are scraping over the $10,000 that's left over. And so you feel this pull that if all these other places are charging 20 times more than you think they're going to charge, we feel like we should charge 2 to 3 times more. That is not part of a reputable, for certainly not reputable, and it actually backfires on you because when you start playing that game, the insurance companies notice it, and then everyone loses out on lower settlements on some of these cases with higher limits. Now, what a reputable and lucrative PI practice looks like, and I'll jam through here in the next 10 minutes. And this is very, very, very difficult to achieve. But once you do, with a lot of hard work, and Dr. Shapiro, maybe you can kind of vouch for some of these things in your practice and my practice that makes us feel like we have a reputable and lucrative PI practice, is since we've met and you've understood more how personal injury works, you really do kind of know when you'll get paid instead of guessing and being frustrated, right?
Yes.
Would you say that after you've come along with the consulting and learned more about how PI works from A to Z, whereas before you're like, I don't know when I'm going to get paid, now you can almost predict within a month of when you will get paid. And that's a good feeling as a business owner.
Yeah.
And then what I said earlier, tracking, right? Do you know if Dr. Shapiro, before we met on the limited PI cases you did you track the amount you got paid per visit?
Hit and miss. I wasn't doing a very good job of it.
Do you think now that you're getting better reimbursements, working with better attorneys because you've built up your PI IQ to the point where you're not going to feel like these low checks have to balance out the big checks? The average reimbursement is much, much, much higher.
Absolutely, 100%. Definitely higher.
And that's a good feeling to have. When you have a business, it's great to be able to give bonuses to your staff and take good care of the people that take care of your patients.
Yes, it is.
The third thing is you have to learn. You have to learn. It's not natural how to get unrepped cases from your own patient base. Now, there's many ways to get unrepped cases, right? You can go down to the insurance agency down the street or your body shop. You can do those things, but I specifically feel like it's important that providers ask their own patients, hey, by the way, if you have any family or friends or coworkers involved in a motor vehicle crash, just have them come in here. I don't want them to go call lawyers. They can just come in here because medicine or their health is more important than some legal situation. And believe it or not, Dr. Shapiro, insurance companies respect this more. The way they're winning in court is they're saying to the jurors, hey, by the way, they contacted this lawyer, this slick lawyer, who's wasting our time in this courtroom today. And then all of a sudden, all these doctors' visits and bills came up. And can you believe they ended up getting surgery? And we think the lawyer ran the show because the lawyer signed them up first. So it's super important that if you learn to be confident on what to do when someone comes in, whether it's directly to you or referred to you because you said to refer to you, you know exactly how to underwrite that case. You know how to underwrite it on the medical side, meaning what do I do to help this patient? And number two, if they choose to find an attorney to protect all of us involved, who am I going to call without hesitation? The biggest stress I have is when I get a patient that comes to me and says, Dr. Troy, I've been in a really bad wreck. I think I'm okay, but I'm going to have you check me out. And it was a FedEx truck. That's the most stressful day in the world for me. Because now I have about 200 lawyers that I'm going through my phone going, who in the world am I going to call to help this patient who's going to love me and probably brag to their other friends that they got the referral? I don't know. It's just a very stressful time for me when I get something like that. But the point is that if you get unrepped cases and you know how to underwrite them and you know how to do your job, having the problem of finding which of the great lawyers that send you business, that's a good problem to have. And if some of you guys haven't run into that, I can't wait till the day that you call me or Dr. Shapiro and says, remember that webinar you guys did? I actually am stressed out. I got someone that got into a crash and I need to find an attorney, but maybe we can use one of your people because my close ones here, they'll talk to each other and I don't want to do that. That's a good problem to have. A couple more concepts I'm going to go over to help you guys grow both a reputable and a lucrative PI practice is this. One admonition and one basic recommendation that's kind of the life-changing, business-changing advice. Let's first of all talk about the positive. You need to learn how to do PI at a very high level. Meet attorneys and ask them, what are those difficult cases that you come across? What are the cases or maybe you just no longer take because it's just not going anywhere. And you try so hard that you have a client that's not faking it. They're credible. You believe them. They might be an aunt or uncle, a cousin or a nephew, but someone that's not out to buy a new car. And yet, because of quote unquote the difficult circumstances in this PI case, you just can't seem to help them. What are those difficult cases? Let me see if I can explain to you how I can help those people that you maybe are turning away now or haven't had much luck with. Let me tell you about what I know about personal injury. As long as you have someone in front of you that is not liable for the collision, in other words, there's no dispute or question of liability, because that could definitely be a game changer. But as long as you believe, and I believe, that they're having some injuries or pain and they're credible, I'm all in, and let me tell you how I can help these people get better, and you can do your job as an attorney because you're working with the right doctors now. That's what's going to change your game literally overnight. And then you prove to that attorney, you practice what you preach, and then it's game over. They're going to be going out of their way to send you clients that they otherwise probably would not even take on anymore, because these are legitimate complaining clients that just need a better personal injury provider that understands how personal injury works at a very high level. And the last thing I'm going to say here is more of an admonition. Be very careful with the experts out there, or the mentors out there, or the coaches for our profession. They claim to know PI, they claim to be gurus, but they can't even give you one lawyer that would send you business. That's a problem. I have a list, Dr. Shipper, and you can vouch for this. I have a list of hundreds of attorneys that can vouch for the work that I and the network members do to handle their clients' cases from A to Z in non-catastrophic injuries. This is a good sign that someone knows what they're talking about. They walk the walk. And you can be guaranteed that if the lawyers say these are the people I'm going to refer to because of A, B, C, D, and E, those referrals will come, because where else will they go? So that's what I would warn. There's a lot of people across the United States. I'm on a lot of Facebook forums that I no longer be a part of, because I just get sick and tired of some of these things these people are teaching and sucking many of us in to pay and listen to, and ultimately going to bury us in our practices, because there's not even one lawyer that would vouch for what they're teaching. Be careful of those people. Dr. Shapiro, that's all I have.
Kent, that was fantastic. I want to ask real quick. We have a chat right here, and I'm gonna offer up anybody that if they have any questions for Dr. Choi at the moment, and if not, we'll move into spinning the wheel and giving out prizes. So I'm gonna take a moment and just let anybody chime in. Dr. Choi, your information, you're dead on. I mean, and that last part about all the people out there that claim to be experts in PI. I've had that experience where they're making claims or giving out information, and it's either not valid for our market, right? Because every state's a little different, or it's not right, period. It's just maybe like outdated or completely false. I know you've seen where they'll bring in like work comp information, and that's not applicable. Sorry, we're getting feedback now.
I'll turn down my volume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, where they brought in information like that, and it's not to say that work comp information isn't valid. It just isn't necessarily valid in the world of PI, right? So just as an example. But
awesome. Do we have any comments or questions in the chat that I could maybe address?
Let's see here. Nobody's asked anything. We did have 31. We got 20. Let's see here. Okay, here's one. Dr. Stephen Long. He says, what's the best way / resources to learn PI laws in California?
If this doctor wants very details such as Prop 213 or how uninsured, underinsured motorist works, how it's not stackable, how sometimes med pay is reimbursable or non-reimbursable. All these things would be, find your best personal injury lawyer that you could ever think of, and you just sit down with them and say, hey, tell me about PI laws in California that might be different than others. And you'll be surprised. They don't differ a whole lot from my experience, because I do consulting in Arizona, Missouri, where you're from, Dr. Shapiro, and in Nevada, soon to be Utah, definitely in California. And it seems like PI is PI. There's some subtle changes and differences in law, but ultimately what we do as providers doesn't change. So that's really important. Even the laws around our states may be different from state to state. What we do as medical provider, that's ubiquitous. That doesn't change at all.
Right. Nice. And then another question is, what's the best way to approach cold personal injury lawyers and maintain the relationship?
I love that quote. Are the lawyers cold, or are you just saying reaching out to them cold turkey? Well, again,
I think
if
it's
I'm
cold.
in a room, Dr. Shapiro, if I'm in a room with 100 chiropractic doctors with this exact same situation where it's like a dating game, right? We have one lawyer sitting there, and every chiropractor gets 5 minutes with them. Who do you think is going to win that referral?
You're asking me?
Think about it. You know me pretty well, right? If we sat with 99 other chiropractors that say, hey, I have a chance to approach this personal injury, and this personal injury gets plucked out of whatever, the middle of that Stockton, and they're sitting in front and says, I'm going to see who the best of the best is amongst you 100. And we go through and we have 5 minutes of unfiltered talk with this attorney, right? This is cold, right? Who's going to be excited to refer? Who's the doctor they're going to be excited about? And I'm going to say that's going to be me, because I've done it for the last 8 years.
Right.
So why is it me? Am I the best looking guy in the world? No. Am I the youngest looking person in the world? No. Am I the smartest doctor in the world? No. I just understand PI. Like, it's kind of ingrained in me. And that's what I try to share with all our fellow providers, to be a great doctor first, but also learn the legal aspects of it in personal injury. Just like the best lawyers you'll ever meet, trial lawyers, you think that they're doctors. You talk to some of these lawyers and they're like, yeah, we're talking about what happened with this eye injury, and they know about the retina and the optic nerve and what part of the brain that affects, and this. You almost think that they're like neurosurgeons. So what prevents us as medical providers to try to think and be like an attorney? So when we sit with them, they don't know if we're a doctor or a lawyer, and maybe even a lawyer in their mind that knows more than they do. That's how you're going to get those people to refer to not only you, but all the people that you vouch for. And that's what I'm about. It's about me and all the people that I vouch for, because we earned it. We worked very hard to learn this stuff. It doesn't come easy, right? At the beginning, I said it's going to take a very long time to try to figure out how this personal injury stuff works with the attorney. So we're working together, right? We're in collaboration and not collusion, or not doing anything shady. It takes years to figure that out and how to work in harmony. But we've done it. We've done this. We've accomplished this. It took 8 long years of very hard work, but now we're cruising. We have a lot of attorneys that look for the next provider that's ready to go to get their clients better.
Fantastic, Dr. Choi. That's an amazing answer. I think that more than answers their question. And let's see here. I think let's see. I got one more question. Been working with a bunch of different attorneys. How do I stay top of mind and maintain the relationships? I think that's kind of what you just said as well, right? Like, stay.
Well, I think it's this. I'll give you an example. You got to stay ahead of the 8 ball. If you guys don't know this by now, you need to know this. For 56 plus years, California had the minimum insurance policy, which in a nutshell called 1535. That means if you injure someone else, the only thing you need is if you cause harm, there's $15,000 to pay for what? Lost wages, medical bills, future medical care, and non-economic damages, pain and suffering. In January 2025, it jumped to 30,000, 60,000, 15. So now it's called 30, 60, 15. It changes the game if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, all it means is lawyers are going to try to make more money, which means they're going to run up huge bills, and your per rata amount is going to be now 10 cents on the dollar instead of 20 cents on the dollar. So you need to get ahead of the 8 ball and try to figure out how we can stay ahead and not get behind. So do lawyers stay ahead of the 8 ball? No. Think about it, guys. You know some lawyers in their 70s and 80s? They're still in the 70s. Even though they dress like 20s, their PI mindsets at they're 70 is 60 years old. And they're getting killed right now. They're retiring. They're closing their offices. You get some young and hungry buck that comes out, some young female, young male, young attorney that's hungry and they learn from the right people and not do it in a shady way. They're crushing it. One of my personal friends in 5 years is going to do $28 million this year. Went from $1 million his first year out as a lawyer. Now this year is going to be $28 million. That's incredible.
That's
But you got to stay ahead together. Providers have to stay ahead. Attorneys have to stay ahead. I teach 4 webinars a week. I've taught over 1,000 classes in the last 8 years. There's rarely any type of subject matter that someone says, I need you to talk about this, that I draw a blank. And if I don't know, I'm not going to pretend I know. I'm going to call someone and ask them who knows more than I do. But I've taught over 1,000 classes in the last 8 years. And I still think we need to teach 5,000 classes. That's how much there is to learn.
That brings up a really good point, Dr. Choi. If anybody on this call wants to get a hold of you to start training or learning how to do PI the best they can, what is the best way for them to reach you?
They get some free webinar links. It's 714-606-5330. If you can put it in the chat, 714-606-5330. That's my cell number. And obviously, you guys know it's Ichthus Injury Network. So it's ichthusinjurynetwork.com. There's a lot of information. You guys may see a lot of your colleagues on that website. And just, if you want to talk to them, just give me a text and I'll give you their cell numbers and they'll basically say I'm crazy. Or they're gonna probably say I'm crazy and they love me. I have both emotions that come in my way. I'm crazy and they love me. So that's okay. That's okay. As long as they're happy with what they're getting out of this and they're developing a lucrative and reputable PI practice, I can't ask for anything more.
Awesome. We have your information on there, sir. So we have your website, we have your Facebook link, your phone number. So I encourage all of you, honestly, to get a hold of him and see what he can do to help you make your PI practice the most successful you've ever seen it, become. Because again, I can speak from personal experience that, hands down, I've never had more success, made more money doing personal injury until I learned the techniques and the flow that the Ichthus Injury Network has shown me. So
thank you for the props. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. That's absolutely my pleasure. Well, I think it's time that we're going to move over and spin the wheel and see if anybody's going to win some money. We've got $1,000 on the line here, folks. We're ready for that? All right. Go ahead. Mark Gottlieb. Our first one is Mark Gottlieb. You are eligible for a prize. Are you on the call? We're going to give him a few seconds. So while that's going, Kent, is there anything else you wanted to say to the audience?
I think that if you guys don't want to do personal injury, please know that your patients rely on you, because if you say no to them, just imagine who they're going to see to treat them when you just want to help patients. So I think doing personal injury is kind of inevitable. I think it's in your face all the time because patients trust and love you. And I think the worst thing as a practitioner would be is like, I love you too, and I want to help you, but I don't know personal injury. I don't touch you with a 10-foot pole. Go somewhere else. You almost feel like you're throwing your own family member on the street. And I don't want anyone to feel that way. Learn how to do personal injury. Do it well, whether it's 1 case a month or 50 cases a month. Do it with integrity, honesty, and connect with great people in the community to develop a lucrative and personal injury practice. Start with that one, and once that goes really well, you're going to be salivating to do 10 a month, 20 a month, and the sky's the limit.
Okay. We're going to go to name 2 now. Go ahead and do the spin. Milad Keshavars. Milad, are you on the call? We got money waiting for you. Did anybody hear from Mark at all? Yeah, it doesn't look like they might not be on here. Let's see here. Okay. Almost done. All right. Tiffany, you want to go ahead and spin for the next one? Bart Khan, you're the next one in line. You got money waiting for you. Just got to step on up. If you're on the call, say yes in the chat. Got a few more seconds, counting down. Going. All right. I think we're gone on that one. Let's go ahead and spin the next one. Ritaj Kafi. Is Ritaj on the call? Does anybody know Ritaj? We've got 12 more seconds. You got a chance. Say yes. You win a prize. You get some money. All right. That's the end of the countdown. Let's go ahead and spin the next one. Aliana Ledesma? Aliana, are you on here? Come down and get your money. It's waiting for you.
Just do a few more tries, Shapiro?
Yeah, just a few more. We usually spin it about anywhere from 6 to 10 times. So it's counting down. All right, that's the end of that one. Let's go ahead and spin again. Dr. Kent Choi.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, it's random.
How does this work?
Honestly,
how does this work?
It's random. It's not rigged.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I'll figure out how to give it back to the profession. How's that sound?
That sounds great, man.
I'll just smile right now, and then you can tell Peter about it, and I'll figure out how to give it back to you guys. So
sounds good. Oh man, yeah, we did.
Hey, how about this, Shapiro? Maybe I'll give $100 to each person that contacts me to talk to me for about 15 minutes about personal injury.
That'd be great.
It'll be $100 credit for whatever they decide to do with their personal injury consulting.
You heard it, folks. $100 credit.
Just to call me, and if it applies, I'll apply it to whatever you decide to do with the network.
Yes. And Kent's he's not pushy. He does do well. So I would highly advise that you reach out to him. I think it's a great opportunity for you.
All right. I got $1,000, $100 credit all the way across the board. And so contact me.
Sounds great. All right. He's offering Tiffany. He's offering $100 credit to whoever reaches out to them and, you know, wants to consider doing consulting with them?
How about better? I'll do $250 for the first 4 that decides to move forward. $250. I'll break it up into 4.
250.
250 times 4.
Okay. Now he says
If you don't want to know how it works, you got to text me. The phone is there. If my phone's not blowing up in the next hour, I don't know what I have to do.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ken, thank you so much for being on here. You are such you're like a diamond, you know, in our profession. I mean, there's no way we would be doing as well as we are in PI without you.
I appreciate that, but we have a whole team, guys. Make sure you do the PI for all seminars. Dr. Shapiro is a huge supporter of personal injury and a great guy to get to know. Thanks for stepping up and being our next president. Dr. Dieter also did a spectacular job.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Well, I think that's a wrap. I think we're good to go. So,
thank you so much, and thank you for Tiffany for moderating all this on the back end.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for being such a good sport with this.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Good luck.
Take care, Doc.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. I think that's a wrap, everybody. So appreciate you all being on the call, and tune in next week. We'll have another great speaker coming your way.